We also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on the Healing Love podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about a dream that I had it was in the past couple years I had it, but I had it a couple years ago, but it really kept coming back to my mind here recently. I really got this strong sense that I needed to pull back. I just needed to pull back because I felt like my energy was drained. It was being pulled, and when I did this, the Lord God just put it on my heart, this dream, and He led me to share this dream with the group today. And when I did, I'm sorry guys if I get emotional. It's actually a really hard word. And it's also a / kind of a warning. Now there is going to be a two-part to this word because at the same time God was sharing this with me, He was also revealing some things to me in my own life that were kind of hindering me from being able to run the race fully. So it was kind of like God was like giving two messages at the same time. He was just like, I'm going to kill one bird with two stones. Or is that, how does that go? I don't know the saying that. Two birds, one stone. How does that work? Anyway, yeah, I don't know the saying. Anyway, but disclaimer, as always, guys, please take every prophetic word to the Lord as it may not be for you. And please remember to always test the Spirit. So guys, let's go ahead. I'm going to start out and just share the dream, and then we'll just go into what I felt the Lord was saying through this. The dream. I dreamed that I was sitting in the back of a car. It was nighttime. I knew that it was prom night. I'm observing the two main characters, Chase and Zoe, from Zoe 101. That was one of my favorite shows growing up. Making out. Then Chase's head falls back into the trunk of the car. I remember for a split second, it's as if I am seeing what Chase could see. In the pitch black, I could see an alarm clock flashing to wake up. I could see it, but I didn't hear it. I then heard myself say, how is he going to be able to hear his alarm clock like that with his head in the trunk? Then the dream switches, and I'm now walking with Chase in what looks sort of like briar bushes. I have a sense there are others walking with us. I remember having this knowing that everyone's goal was to reach their prom dates, and the ultimate goal was to reach Zoe. And I remember being disgusted at the thought of that. At some point, I remember while we were walking through the briar bushes, the dream switched to me observing Chase, and we were driving on this back road in the woods. And I remember he suddenly did a U-turn, saying to himself, oh, I forgot to get the key. So we then eventually arrive on this beach-like setting, and it looked like the morning sunrise. I'm standing and observing Chase getting to Zoe, and Zoe smiled at him. I heard someone behind us crying, and people were gathered around her, comforting her. My friend, specifically Lucas, was with her. He kept saying, it's okay, it's okay. And it was like they were comforting her for not winning the race. The dream switches. I then sat in this cafeteria. There are two sections. I sat in a section with fewer people while the other section had more. I noticed my old childhood friend Jacob with them. He was the cook. I noticed that everyone that sat in this section was heavier set, but their plates were empty. And I remember sitting next to them, and I kept offering them food, like nutritious food, but it was like they refused to accept it. I really wanted them to eat, but it's almost like they were afraid or just not interested in what I was trying to get them to eat. I then gave up. The dream switches. I'm standing outside and I'm not sure if it was a gathering of an event, but I remember there were activities going on and I sensed it's time. I turn around expecting to see my mother, but I see my dad along with this woman, and she was giving me a thumbs up. Right when she did this, a tornado came out of nowhere. I then ran to the church bathroom. I am in a stall and the building is kind of spinning. I looked up and I saw dirt trickling down from the crack in the ceiling, but that was about it. I then say to myself, I have to go back and get the others. I am now standing back where I was and I yell to everyone, get to the church bathrooms, you are safest there. I look to my right and the tornado is super close. I knew if I didn't run back to the church bathroom myself, I have no doubt that I could have died. But right when I'm about to start heading towards the bathroom, I remember turning and seeing that same girl who refused the food I was trying to give her before. She was running for her life. I then suddenly felt so much love for this girl, this compassion, and I just could not let her die. I decided to run back and save her. When I ran back to save her, I noticed she was having a hard time keeping up because of her weight. She had on this yellow raincoat, and I screamed, let me help you, take my hand, and she still refused. I remember being so heartbroken as I knew that if she wouldn't grab hold of my hand, she was gonna die. I'm then on the other side and I remember walking around the corner and I see the same girl lying face first in the mud. A power line was right next to her body, immersed in water. I am crying and I exclaim, did she make it? I then hear a woman's voice out of nowhere. I didn't see the woman, but I heard her answer back to me, she didn't make it. I turn to the right and I see this house underground. I go to the house and I see a window at feet level. I climb through the window and I see plywood behind this bunk bed blocking my way from entering the house completely. I had to slide my way sideways to get out, and I am standing in the children's bedroom. It's dark and there are no children. I walk through and I now see a man, light blue colored long sleeve with a dark royal blue vest, sitting in his recliner eating cereal watching the news. I said to him, sir, there's a tornado outside. He seemed like he didn't care and he wasn't listening to me. And that's when the dream ended. So guys, for those of you that this word is for, there are people in your life that you have overextended yourself to these people because you have such a selfless heart. You have such a heart for these people. I really got a sense that God was emphasizing my heart posture in the dream. And he was just like, you have such a loving heart towards these people. You love these people. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like God was telling me, it's not wrong to love others. I command you to do so. But for those of you that this word is for, there are people in your life that have made their decision. These people have made a decision out of fear. They've chosen to basically, God was really, I got a sense with the man with the long sleeve blue collared shirt with the vest, I got a sense that he was, I don't know why, but I kept hearing like the American dream. But these people have chased after life and the things of this world, and they've done so out of fear. And some of these people have even had addictions. I even heard the Lord say for some of you, it's someone in your family that has suffered from an addiction. I don't know if it's like a drinking problem. I don't know if it's substance abuse. I don't know what kind of addiction it is. I just know the Lord was saying there's an addiction that some of you it's been in your own family, and you've been here and you've been trying to help these people, right? You've been extending yourself, extending love to them, and trying to be a light in their life. And it's because you love and care about these people so much. You don't want them to perish. You don't want to see them hurt. You don't want to see them go down that path, And I really got a sense that for some of you, I get a sense that there are a group of you that you've been through something of the sort. There's something that you've been through that's similar to this person, and that's why you want to help them so bad, because it's like God helped you overcome this, right? I got a sense that when I ran to the bathrooms myself, it's almost like I went to the bathroom, I got cleansed, and then it's like I have to go save the others. So it's like something that God has really helped you cleaned out in your life. So for example, when God was using this dream to speak to me about a personal thing in my life, there was someone in my life that we really connected on a deep level. Like, I knew this person was struggling with certain addictions. This person was struggling with similar things that I had been through. And sometimes it really did feel like I was talking to myself. And it was so hard to look at this person and watch them make a certain decision in their life. And, when they did this, I heard the Lord say, let them go. Like, let this person go. They've made their decision. These people have made their decision. And even though I had the answer, you have the answer. You have that food, right? That spiritual nourishment. You have the love, the light. You have that. But it's like these people are refusing to accept it. There are people that have just bought into the system, right? These people have bought into the idea of the American dream, which is, in life you are supposed to be married by a certain age, or, tradition says we're supposed to be doing this, we're supposed to have this high-paying job, or maybe it's just this type of career for their life, whatever. And for everyone, it's going to be different, right? But there's something these people have basically bought into, that they have, they're asleep. In a sense, it's like they're asleep. They've bought into this idea to the point that they believe this is the right way. This is the ultimate goal, is to get to this point and do this. Or maybe it's have this much money saved by this time. And that when you're close to God and you have a relationship with the Lord, we know that God does things in a way that doesn't make sense to man, right? God's ways are higher than our ways, and his, my ways are higher than your ways. My thoughts are higher than your thoughts. There's been so many moments in my life where, and I used to struggle with this. I struggled a lot with the pride of life. I held so closely the idea of, for example, I bought into the system. I bought into the idea of I'd like to be married by the age of 25, or I'd like to have the husband. I want the children. I want the home. I want to own a house by the time I'm 30. I want to, work on my credit. I want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I had all these plans, and, we'll go to church on Sunday and all this stuff. And I had all of that. And it wasn't until I really gave my life to Christ, I started to understand that was wrong. Like, that wasn't God's plan for my life. That wasn't God's purpose for my life. God actually started to allow certain things to happen to me. And he still does. He still does. There's things that will happen to me that I didn't see coming. I did not know. Like, some things I have, God will let me know beforehand. But there are some things where I feel like I'm blindsided by the enemy, you know? And it's like, you know, when you're with God, God's logic, God's wisdom is different than man's, right? So it's like, you know, for example, God, like, the ways of this world, eye for an eye, and Jesus is like, turn the other cheek, you know, like, love people. I command you to love people. God's ways are different than our ways. And you know, there was times in my life where God stripped me completely of everything that I ever thought, you know, I was supposed to be doing at that age. And you know, there was seasons where I literally was homeless with my son. And I had zero support. The only support I had was the Lord. That was it. And I had to grow and really learn, you know, during those seasons, I developed an intimacy with the Holy Spirit. I really developed that just close relationship with Him, that my inner compass, you know, the Lord. But it's like, and it's grown stronger over time for my purpose of helping others and leading others and loving others. And that's, you know, that's the purpose for my life. But anyway, not to get off track, but so anyway, these people that you've been overextending yourself to, God is saying that it's time to go. It's time to leave these people. You've done all that you can. You've done your best to help these people. But they've made their decision. And it's time, I heard the Lord say, it's time to depart. And God is going to give you instructions on what He wants you to do with that. So the Lord may ask you, you know, the Lord may say, you know, it's time to block this number, or it's time to delete this contact, or maybe it's time to unfriend. It's time to create some distance, you know. It's time. And it was really hard for me to digest this word because, like I said, I have a sense I'm speaking to a group of you you love these people so much. And like I said, for some of you it could be a friend of yours, for some of you it could be family of yours, but it's hard to let go. But God is saying that there are people that are willing to, they need what it is that you have. They will eat the word, right? And I got that sense in this dream. Like, these people were not willing to eat. They were not willing to out of fear. And God is only saying that if you stay with these people, you're only going to get hurt even more. It's going to actually make it harder for you to run, because you're carrying something that's not meant for you to carry. And that's something that I was really feeling here lately. I just had this extra weight, and God had given me another dream. I'm not going to get into that because God didn't lead me to share that dream, but I'll just basically say, sometimes we can carry other people's baggage for them, and these people are not willing to do the work. They're not willing to change. They don't want to change. And again, it's coming from that mindset of fear. Their mind is on the world and on the worldly things, materialistic things, the things of this life, while your mind is on the things of heaven. You're on the things of, your mind is on Jesus. Your mind is in a completely and totally different place than where these people are. It's not to say that you're better than these people or anything like that, because we know that, you know, everyone is valuable and has worth in God's eyes. You're not better than the person next to you. That's pride. It's just you are going down a different path. And if you stay behind and help these people, it could potentially cause harm to you. And God doesn't want it to be extra weight for you to carry. He doesn't want you to be dragged down, because it's getting in the way of you being able to run the race yourself, right? So yeah, that is basically the message for today. But something that, like I said, there is going to be a part 2 to this message, because at the same time God was giving me this message, he was saying, there was clarity I was receiving about some of the things in my life were being highlighted that I did not know were there, that was behind the scenes hindering my walk with God. It was hindering me being able to run the race with the Lord, you know? So there's something, I am so sorry, I nearly left this out, and it was actually really important. Excuse me. You know what? I'll just say it in part 2. So stay tuned for part 2. I'm going to go into that one. We're going to discuss some of the things that God is saying that we need to prepare our hearts for, that's going to be coming in the near future. Because I had this since the other day, that while the Lord was telling me I needed to depart from these people, I needed to limit the access that these people had before, there's something that's coming that God is needing you to be prepared for. And and at the same time, there's good things that are coming as well. So it's kind of like, I don't know what you call that. What is that? Flip side coin? I don't know what you call it. So yeah, stay tuned for part 2. That one will be titled Clarity. So I hope you stay tuned, and I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.